there, and welcome to this special episode. It's the second episode in a series of horoscope readings that I shall be doing each month this year for 2 star signs which fall under each month. So last month we did Capricorn and Aquarius, and this month is Aquarius and Pisces. So if you are an Aquarian and you haven't listened to the previous episode, maybe go back and listen to that, but it's a bit late now because that was for January. But if you were born in the February month under that star sign, then this will be for you. So let's get into it, and I'll explain what I'm doing as I go along. But just to clarify here is that these horoscope readings are not predictions. They are just to give you guys something to think about for this particular month, hopefully to give you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of insight, a little bit of help. I've had some lovely feedback from the previous horoscope that I did. Let me know that it really did resonate with them, and they're going to make those changes that I'd mentioned in the episode. So again, it's not about me saying to you, you must do this, you must do that, or give any predictions. It's more about giving some guidance and insight, and then it's up to you if you wish to take that guidance and insight or not. Okay, so let's start with Aquarius before we go into Pisces. So if you're Aquarians, I hope you had a nice January, a productive January, and you were putting the work in. But let's see what February is showing us. So the theme for February for you Aquarians is despondence, and don't be despondent. So what we mean is, it's not being disheartened or losing faith or hope, whether it be in yourself or in a situation in February. January can be a very, very tough month for a lot of people. And it's that same month where people set all their New Year's resolutions or whatever. And sometimes if people set those resolutions but don't quite start them, or they stop them before they've even started, then that can make people lose a little bit of hope. I'm not saying this is definitely connected to that, it just gives you an example. So in February, Aquarians, try not to get too emotional about things. Try not to get too down on yourself. Try not to get too disheartened if things haven't worked out yet, because it's still very early on in 2025 and we have the rest of this year to go through yet. So that really is the theme. It's trying to keep your chin up, as we say. It's trying to keep optimistic and not being despondent with things, not beating yourself up or throwing the toys at the pram, if we want to put that basic term in it as well. So that's your main theme. Now I'm looking at my tarot cards here, and once I've got the theme, I like to look at, okay, so what's going to help you in February and what's going to hinder you in February. So basically what will help and what won't, basically. So I've got here the Death card and the Three of Swords. Now, the Death card is not about death, just to make that very clear. People do get a little bit worried when they see that card come out, but it's not about death at all. What the card is about again, they can all have numerous meanings, but it's about transformation and transition, effectively. And what the Aquarian should be focusing on is in February is putting things into action, making things move forward. I think sometimes we can get very comfortable, and we get comfortable in our little box, in our little comfort zone. But with the Death card coming out, it talks about leaving the old shit behind and moving forward with the new things that you want to do. It's making way for new things to come in. But if you're hanging on to old things from the recent past, or very far behind you, that can stop us from moving on and clearing out the weeds to make way for new growth, for new beautiful things. I guess is how I want to put it, because it's just dropped in my head. So it's about putting those things aside and allowing yourself for new things to come in, and knowing that you are worthy and deserving of new things. If we don't feel like we're deserved of something, if we don't think we're worthy of achieving something, then the likelihood is we're not going to achieve it, because our mind's just not in it. So it's allowing space in your mind to accept that things have to change for you, and things will change if you allow them to. But only you can do that, and only you can put those things behind you that no longer serve you. All right. And with the Three of Swords, and this, I mean, traditionally this card talks about heartbreak, right? But in this context, I want to put a slightly different spin on it. It's clearing out any emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain, and clearing all that to make way for new ground, which is very similar to what the Death card is. So when these two cards came out together, I thought, there's a theme here. It's allowing yourself to heal, and it's allowing yourself to heal from whether it be a breakup, whether it be the loss of a job, whatever it might be. It's allowing that space for healing. And again, don't be despondent about it. Don't think that you can't heal. Don't think that you cannot move forward, because you most certainly can. But it's time now that we do that. So again, how this is going to help you? By clearing out some of that emotional stuff and allowing that way for healing to come in, that is going to help you to be able to see clearer in order to move forward. So it's letting go of some of the heartbreak from whatever situation. And it's not just in relationships, right? It can be from anything. It's allowing those things to pass. And I know it's easier said than done. But sometimes, I give myself the same advice when I'm when I'm going through something like that, is that we have to keep moving it forward by letting go of some of the things and cutting ties with situations or people in order for us to move forward. So those things will help you. What will hinder you going into in February is focusing on the wrong things. Is by paying attention to those things that do not serve you. So, you might want, you might have the idea of wanting to meet the one, or to start having that family, or buying that new house. And I believe that things will come to us when they're meant to come to us. But sometimes in the moment, we need to focus on actually what is important and what is achievable at that moment. So it's putting your mind and focusing your mind on the things at this point, at this moment in time, are going to make you happy. Focus on the things that will actually bring value and add value to your life, or bring some sense of positivity or success to your life. So it's keeping your mind on the right things. But if we're focusing on the wrong things, or maybe things that are not good for us, maybe there's someone out there who you want to go out with, but actually they're not necessarily great for you at this particular moment, use your intuition to feel into it. And I think that's another thing I want to say, is what will hinder you in February is not listening to your intuition. It's not paying attention to what you should be doing in order to make way for those new things that we've already talked about. So just keep that in mind for February. Just to give you a bit of insight there. All right, focus on the right things. Pay attention to your intuition, because that will help you move forward and make decisions that need to be made. Now, I'd like to finish off with a message card, I suppose, or look for a message within a card, just to round that off. And I've got my angel cards here, my angel tarot cards, and we have the Knight of Water. But again, and it's got words on the card, but I'll interpret it through what I'm feeling at this particular moment to link all this together. And this card for me is about the need to balance emotions. And I feel that links nicely to not being despondent, because when we are despondent, we do feel emotional. We can be upset, we can lose hope, we can lose faith, which brings all those emotions and might put them into, they might go out of whack a little bit. So it's about not being despondent and keeping your emotions in check, keep your emotions balanced. Because again, in order, as I said before, to make way for new things and to start putting things into motion, we need to be clear-minded about things, and we need to make certain decisions that might be tough to make, but we've got to make them. And so if we are too emotional, or our minds are all over the place emotionally, that's going to make it more difficult. So as much as you can, try and get your emotions in balance. Try to get yourself calm. However you do that is completely up to you. But just just check yourself and check where your emotions are at this particular point, and try and get them in some kind of balance and an alignment. And what I'll also say is, make way for new people to come into your life in February as well. And not shutting people out. Actually, that could be what I mean. It's not shutting people out. If you need help, if you need support, reach out for it, but make sure it's the right person that you're reaching out for. And with that, Aquarians, I think that's all I've got to say to you. But let's move on now to Pisces. So, Pisces, let's look at your theme, and just bear with me on this one because it's quite interesting, and I'm intuitively feeling different things from the cards that I've got. So, the theme we've got is, now bear with me on this, it's not meant to sound as airy-fairy as I'm going to say it, but the theme is mysticism. And that comes from this purple chakra card that I've got here. Now, bear with me. And I'm actually going to go straight into what will help and what will hinder you in order for it to make more sense. So, you've got the mysticism card, which is a purple card which is linked to your third eye chakra and your crown chakra, which is about your clairvoyance and inspiration, right? So, what will help with this is, I should reverse that. Let's try and explain what I mean, actually, just so you can understand what I'm trying to get at. So my feeling is with this card is that in February for you Pisceans is, I'm not going to say keeping your cards close to your chest, but whatever it is that you're working on or working through, it's not giving too much of that away. It's not trying to be purposefully mysterious, if that makes sense, but it's not giving all of yourself away or all of your business away to other people in February because of the judgments that are out there. Not everybody needs to know every single part of your life or your business at this point. It feels a little bit like there's stuff that you need to work on for yourself before you start inviting other people into the conversation. So I think that's what I mean by the mysticism bit. It's almost like keeping a part of you private, which we're all entitled to do, for this month until you start figuring things out. So then when I look at the what's going to help you cards, I have the Ten of Wands and the Empress card. Now, the Ten of Wands says to me is, what's going to help you is not taking on all the burden of everything. Now, if you ask people to do things, this could be a work environment here, or it could even be at home with a family. It's when you ask someone to do something, it's not necessarily always explaining why you want them to do it. It's a bit like when I was a kid and my mum would ask me to do something, and I'd say to her, why? And she said, because I said so, and I do as you're told. No explanation needed other than that. So it's more about sharing the load in February without giving too much of it away. And it might seem, as I'm saying, be secretive. It's not about being secretive, but it's about you keeping a part of yourself to work through before other people, get involved in the situation or whatever else. So it's sharing the load, and it's not taking on too much in February is what I want to say. So delegate to other people in order to feel more supported. Again, whether it be at home with a family or whether it be in a workspace, a work environment, it's about delegating and sharing that load. And what will also help you, if I look at the Empress card, is keeping yourself grounded this month. And people might say, yeah, but I am anyway. But I think what can sometimes happen, and I do this as well, sometimes we do feel a bit away with the fairies, for lack of a better phrase. Sometimes we can just find ourselves a bit disconnected to what's going on around us. We can be daydreaming quite a lot. We just lose focus on certain situations. And so those situations where you're talking to someone and you completely zone out, not on purpose, but you do. And they say, oi, where have you gone? Hello, I'm talking to you. So try and keep yourself focused. Try and keep yourself grounded and present in February. Again, without giving people reasons as to why you're not feeling that way, or you're not, it's about working on yourself and focusing on the inner stuff in February for you guys, because it could be a bit of an emotional month. So those things are going to help you keep yourself grounded. There's different activities you can do to keep yourself grounded. If you're interested in that, just let me know and I can help you out there, send you some activities or whatever to keep yourself grounded, or at least to help keep you grounded as well. And feeling the love for yourself. The Empress card is someone who is nurturing, who is creative, who's about family, nature, but actually is about taking some of that care that you give out and put it to yourself this month as well. And that comes with releasing burdens and delegating to other people, because you can't do everything yourself. So what will hinder you? So I do feel it's a bit of an emotional month, because you've got 2 cup cards here, and then the last card that I've got for you for my Angel Tarot, that's also a water card. So I do feel, I know Pisces, water sign, whatever it might be, so it might make sense from that point of view, but I just feel that it could be a bit of an emotional month. What I would say is what will hinder is again, sharing too much of yourself with people, because then people always have an opinion. Oh, you should do this, you should try this, you should do, although they're trying to help, it can sometimes be more detrimental than actually being a help to you. I'm not saying don't speak to people and don't reach out for help if you need, but it's just being aware of what you share with people, so it doesn't affect your mentality. Because I think when other people start putting their opinions in, it can make us feel even more confused or worse about certain situations. And that's what I say. It's just being careful of so don't go gossiping, don't go telling all your business, because I think that will hinder the situation. But make sure that you are surrounded with supportive people. Anyone who's not supportive, who's not invested in your emotional or mental well-being, then they are not needed, because they will hinder you. So I hope that makes sense, what I'm trying to say there. So don't go tell everyone your business in February. Take that time for healing, but only get involved with people who will be there, who you know will be there to mentally or emotionally support you, or whatever. All right, so that's what I would say there. Now, with the last card I'll give to wrap it up, which is an Angel Tarot card, we have the 5 of Water here in the Angel Tarot deck. And again, there's a lot of emotion in this card, because this card can talk about not seeing the positives in a situation, or that saying of crying over spilled milk. Let's try not to do that, but sometimes I think it's okay to let some of the emotions out, because I think we all know when we hang on to emotions for a long time and without expressing them, they build up and up and up and up and up, and then we just end up exploding, and we don't really want to do that. So it comes back to, I feel, only seeking out the supportive people who you know can be support to you, but not any old person who can have a judgment on what you've just said to them, because these days everyone's got a bleeding opinion about everything, and not always very helpful either. So it's trying to keep it optimistic, but then also, if you do need to have that cry or that scream or whatever, do it, but do it in a way in which is private and personal to you, rather than like sitting on a bus or a train and screaming out loud. Not that you would do that, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's trying to keep it behind closed doors, so again, you don't get that judgment from other people. And I feel, Pisceans, that's where I'm going to leave that for you guys. So that's it for February's horoscope for those 2 star signs. I hope it helps you guys. If you have any feedback about it and it has helped you or it's resonated with you, please do let me know, so I know that I am doing something right, or I am actually giving you some insights that'd be useful for me as well. And apart from that, I shall be back in March with March's horoscopes, but before that there'll be some more podcast episodes out as well, so keep an eye out for those, or an ear out for those even. So I'm going to stop rabbiting on now, but once again, thank you very much for listening. Have a great February, and I'll speak to you soon.